400, 401. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thank you for being here. If you're a subscriber, thank you for coming back. In this week's video, we're gonna go over this bone stock SX500. No, not really. I wanna talk about the brand new MX Pro from Razor. I don't have the bike in front of me yet. It's not even on the market yet, but I do have some information. I have some facts. I got some measurements. I got some things you guys might be interested in. The one thing I want to iterate in this video is the lengths that Razor, the worldwide company, and the engineers, the designers, the people that work there took to make this bike a better bike for our kids, something to grow into, and the perfect bike for us as adults if you're in the modding scene. The things that they've thought about, they thought ahead, the motor, suspension, the wheels and tires, that sort of thing. Enough blabbing, let's get into it. All right, guys, so diving right into this bike, a couple things I want to mention right off the bat is the size. Starting off here, the seat height of the SX500 is 24.5 inches tall. The seat height of the MX Pro is going to come in at 29 inches. And I have the pictures here for you guys so you guys can kind of get an idea of the size differences in the two bikes. If you just look at the size of the wheels, the size of the suspension, you know, the seat height, it's going to be a bigger, taller bike. Starting off from the front here, guys, the forks are 622 millimeters tall. To put that into perspective to something we're a little bit more familiar with, the Ride or Die forks or the version 2 ENC forks are 630 millimeters. A difference of 7 millimeters is about a quarter inch. So right about the same size as everything we're used to already. They are hydraulic, non-adjustable forks. So it has a 44 millimeter inside diameter of the head tube. And what that's gonna allow us to do is open up the aftermarket scene to motorcycle type forks and mountain bike type forks. So I'd be really interested to see how this plays out moving forward with the forks and the options and the things that, you know, we pretty much buy on a regular basis for all of our pit bikes, especially being adults. But I mean, with the forks that this comes with, we might not even need to modify them at all. Moving on to the electronic side, y'all. It's a 48 volt lithium ion battery. It's 24 amp hours and it's got a brushless DC motor. Really similar to what you might find in the Mototechs. I know in the electric pit bike scene, we do Razors and Mototechs, but pretty on par with that kit. One thing I'm super excited about on this bike is the ability to remove the motor, which we already do with most of these bikes as it is. They've put a mount on the swing arm that will allow us to install an MY1020 type or style of motor without having to extend the swing arm, without having to add brackets or braces. It's already on there from the factory. So this will be like your MY1020s, your Coonrays, your Beavers, your Soshin FW11s, your EC4P, EC5P, these types of motors that are drop-in for Razor standards in the swing arm that we already know. Hear me out real quick about the brakes. While we're on this slide, let's talk about the brakes real quick. So it does have cable brakes. Now I know some of you probably rolling your eyes, but I think it's a smart play from Razor to put cable brakes on here. Doesn't increase the price of the bike by having cable brakes on there, when for us, we're probably going to remove them anyway. But for the kid that this is designed and developed for, which is a child or a kid or an older kid, the brakes are perfectly adequate. In an effort to keep the price down, they just went with cable brakes. And for us on the modding side, we're just going to upgrade them anyway. We're going to put on their pit bike brakes or our Zoom type brakes or hydraulic brakes of your choice. Moving on to the foot peg design. What Razor did here was they put a more conventional style or size foot pocket in the frame to allow for a more standard foot peg. Half the time when we go to buy the pegs for our Razors, the SXs, the MXs, and the RSFs, that's an off size. So we have to grind the shank or the shaft of the foot peg in order to get it fit. A lot of times it looks messy and it's just more work. But with the design we have here, Razor thought ahead and they're like, hey, we can just fix this. And then these guys can put in whatever kind of universal peg that they want. So on the SX, the MX, and the RSFs, there is no adjustment in the rear wheel. The new MX Pro is going to have an adjustable rear wheel. And it also has an 8mm chain. One of the main differences in the MX Pro versus the pit bikes we're used to is the rear suspension. Now, first things first, it does come with a DNM rear shock. It's 200mm by 50mm, but it comes stock on the bike. It sprung to 550 pounds. But the spring linkage, this is a technology that's been used in motorsports for years and years and years and years. This isn't new or specific to RZR. This is a proven concept. But it's called a rising rate suspension system. It's supple and smooth on your light and soft terrain, and it resists bottoming out on your more aggressive terrain. With these plates that are on either side of the shock, you can move the shock within this plate. So for us on the modification side, you can have different size plates and you can put the shock in different places on the plate to allow for different suspension travel or different characteristics in your suspension. And I feel like as the modders, or us, what this video is designed for, we're going to be diving into this and setting up all kinds of suspension stuff specific to our riding type and style. So a couple questions that come up in the forums is, how much is it? When is it going to be released? And will there be a roller? So there will not be a roller from RZR. They are, however, interested in maybe cooperating with another company to produce the frame on a more wide scale as a roller, but not offered from RZR specifically. As far as the price, I don't know the price. RZR has not released the price. I don't have any special information on that. So sorry, guys. And as far as the release date, there's not a specific release date yet. But if I had to guess, and this comes from a pretty good source, I would say in the spring sometime if everything goes well. But anyway, that's it for me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Have a great day. Bye.
All of us here at Channel 4 News. I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, San Diego.
And thanks for stopping by.
But mainly, stay classy.
Slow down. Jesus.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel.
Just speed up 1.5.
Okay.
It'll look good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for being here. If you're a subscriber, thanks for coming back. In today's video, we have a super special episode. It's going to be a mini bike showdown. On the left over here, we have the Kuberg. We have a modified SX500. We got the Socian SX500, and we have the incredible Speed Demon, the Ride or Die, RZR Chopper. Let's go. All right, guys, it's race morning. I'm a little bit worried about the white SX500. It's got a QS120 in it. I think it has the same battery as mine, a 240-400, and I think he has a far driver controller. I'm not sure exactly which far driver he has, but for the sake of this race, I'm gonna start with my controller turned down a little bit. I don't wanna give him all the beans at one time, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna let him, I think the FW11's got it, but I wanna see kind of what it does with a little bit less DC in and let them think that they can get me. And then if we do 2 out of 3 races and it's really close, then I got some room to turn it up. Anyway, let's get back to it.